Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of China Update, where I provide you with the most up-to-date political, economic, and geostrategic analysis on the world's #2 economy. My name is Tony. Let's jump in. This week, Chinese financial media outlet Caixin published a long story titled 2025 No Longer Just a Price War, the Auto Industry Enters the Warring States Period. That looks at how tough this year is likely to be for automakers in China. As 2025 unfolds, industry analysts in China itself warn that some manufacturers may face total collapse, while others are shifting strategies to survive the turmoil. Let's unpack some of this coverage, citing the Caixin article, as well as Chinese financial media outlet Yicai and state media reports from the last week or so. So if the trend in China is negative, this in of itself is very telling. Tesla has launched its biggest ever discounts in China, marking a new escalation in the country's auto price war. The company is offering an insurance subsidy of 8,000 yuan, $1,100 for all Model 3s, reducing the starting price of the rear-wheel drive version to 227,000 RMB, $31,000. In addition, Tesla is rolling out a 5-year interest-free payment plan and exclusive auto charging benefits. These incentives, combined with government subsidies and additional perks worth up to 58,000 yuan, $8,000, highlight Tesla's determination to maintain market share in a fiercely competitive environment. Despite its aggressive pricing, Tesla's future in China remains uncertain. Even if the company successfully launches its full self-driving software in the country, regulatory hurdles may prevent it from charging for the service. Meanwhile, the company's Shanghai Megapack energy storage plant is set to hold its commissioning ceremony on February the 11th, but it remains unclear whether CEO Elon Musk will attend. While Tesla slashes prices, the other big player in the market, Chinese automaker BYD, appears to be taking a different approach. The company has reportedly been advised by regulators to avoid aggressive price cuts similar to those it implemented in previous years. Instead, BYD is planning a large-scale rollout of its intelligent driving systems, offering smart driving functions for free. This move could create a significant competitive advantage, as other automakers may struggle to match BYD's offerings without impacting profitability. Additionally, BYD is shifting its focus to the mid to high end range market, with its sales surpassing those of SAIC Motor in 2024. BYD has cemented its position as China's leading automaker. However, the company now faces challenges in balancing growth with regulatory compliance and market dynamics. Meanwhile, looking now at a Japanese player, Toyota, the world's top-selling automaker, has announced plans to build a new wholly owned electric manufacturing plant in Shanghai's Jinshan district. The plant, scheduled to begin production in 2027, will focus on Lexus-branded battery electric vehicles and aims for an initial production capacity of 100,000 units per year. Toyota's investment in China further strengthens its ties with the country's supply chain, a move that aligns with its previous lobbying efforts against US chip export controls. The project also reflects China's strategy of binding global auto giants more tightly to its market. Now, these are only 3 of the major players. There are many more operating in the highly competitive market. And as price wars continue, analysts predict a survival of the fittest scenario in China's auto sector, the biggest auto market in the world. The China-based China Electric Vehicle 100 has pointed out that excessive brand proliferation, overlapping positioning, and underutilized production capacity are contributing to instability. Over 40 domestic EV brands currently sell fewer than 5,000 vehicles per month, and some, like Hi-Fi Automobile, are already entering restructuring phases. Analysts argue that there could be dozens of automakers facing full-blown collapse. Additionally, Chinese regulators are cracking down on questionable car loan practices, particularly in Chongqing, where lenders have been offering high-interest, high-rebate schemes to boost sales. This regulatory intervention may further strain dealers relying on financing incentives. And while we're discussing Chinese automakers, if we jump across the ocean, amid its domestic strategy shifts, BYD is also facing scrutiny abroad. A UK-based Reuters investigation published this week revealed that Chinese workers at BYD's Brazil factory were subjected to abusive contract clauses. Employees had to surrender their passports, accept direct wage transfers to China, and pay an upfront deposit of nearly $900, only refundable after 6 months of work. Brazilian labor inspectors described the conditions as, quote, slavery-like. End quote. The scandal raises ethical concerns that could impact BYD's global reputation, particularly as it seeks to expand into international markets. And indeed, due to overcapacity within China itself, many auto players are looking to move into these international markets. To conclude, based on the analysis from leading Chinese analysts and outlets, China's auto industry in 2025 is no longer just about price wars, but it has entered a fully fledged warring states period, to quote the Tyson analysts. As competition intensifies and consolidation looms, only the most adaptable players will emerge unscathed, with most facing restructuring or worse. Next up, we have another major development to cover, but just quickly, if you're getting some value from today's episode of China Update, it's a tremendous help if you can just hit that like button. Liking, sharing, and subscribing is a big help. Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee links are also in the description for those who want to help keep China Update financially sustainable. Thank you so much. Let's continue. The emergence of DeepSeek, a cutting-edge Chinese artificial intelligence AI model, has reignited debates in Washington over the effectiveness of US semiconductor export controls. The unexpected success of DeepSeek, or at least what appeared to be its success, has triggered a rare bipartisan convergence, with Senators Elizabeth Warren, Democrat Massachusetts, and Josh Hawley, Republican Missouri, demanding stronger enforcement of export restrictions. The development highlights ongoing tensions between technological containment policies and the rapid innovation capabilities of Chinese firms. Warren and Hawley have sent a letter to Commerce Secretary-designate Howard Lutnick, arguing that lax enforcement and corporate lobbying have allowed Chinese firms to sidestep US export restrictions. They specifically cited DeepSeek's developments as an example of policy failure, blaming loopholes in the Biden administration's regulations that enabled Chinese companies to acquire high-performance NVIDIA chips. Their demands also include reforms within the Bureau of Industry and Security, BIS, advocating for leadership free from industry ties. Their concerns reflect a broader frustration in Washington, and likely in the wider public within the US, regarding corporate influence in policy enforcement and the perceived inadequacy of current restrictions. Amid the scrutiny, Jeffrey Kessler has been nominated to lead the BIS. Kessler, a partner at WilmerHale and former Assistant Secretary for Enforcement and Compliance at the Department of Commerce, has a track record of aggressively enforcing trade regulations. His appointment signals a potential shift towards stricter oversight of semiconductor exports. Though industry pushback is expected, Kessler's past initiatives included numerous trade investigations and the implementation of tougher countervailing duties. If confirmed, his leadership could lead to tighter scrutiny of companies like NVIDIA, which has continued to sell modified chips such as the H20 to Chinese customers despite prior restrictions. While the former Biden administration had tightened chip export controls, NVIDIA's workaround designing downgraded versions of its AI chips for China has raised questions about the effectiveness of these measures. Reports indicate that the NVIDIA H20, though intended to comply with restrictions, outperforms its predecessor, the H800, in certain scenarios. This suggests that Chinese firms, rather than being deterred by controls, have successfully adapted to the constraints. Chinese technology giant and national champion Huawei recently announced that the DeepSeek series of AI models has been officially launched on the Ascend community, supporting seamless integration with Huawei's Ascend hardware platform. This move is seen as a strategic step toward strengthening China's AI self-sufficiency, reducing reliance on US chipmakers. Companies like More Threads Technology, a GPU design firm founded by a former NVIDIA China executive, have pledged full support for DeepSeek, integrating their own proprietary KUAE GPU cluster to enhance the performance and deployment of DeepSeek's models. DeepSeek's success has sent shockwaves through the AI industry, with leading scientist Rao Yi calling it, quote, the biggest shock to come out of China in 185 years. End quote. The rapid rise of DeepSeek is being viewed as a major challenge to US dominance in AI development, proving that Chinese firms can innovate despite export restrictions. China has framed the DeepSeek breakthrough as proof that US containment strategies are ineffective. Fu Tong, China's UN envoy, questioned the long-term impact of American restrictions, warning that continued bans could harm global cooperation in AI development. He emphasized that China and the US must collaborate to bridge the global digital divide rather than engaging in an escalating technology war. Of course, with a competition, it's always those who are coming second that are most vocal about collaboration, until of course they begin leading. While Washington is considering stricter enforcement, Chinese firms have shown resilience in navigating restrictions. With all of this, the ongoing debate highlights a fundamental dilemma for policymakers: how to balance national security concerns with the reality of a rapidly evolving global tech landscape. Some experts argue that US export controls on chips are counterproductive, pointing to China's ability to stockpile high-end semiconductors, smuggle more in, and develop local alternatives, while limiting the economic rewards for Western semiconductor companies. While others maintain that stronger controls are necessary to maintain a competitive edge in AI. This is a debate that will continue, and we will continue to follow it here closely on China Update. Okay, that is today's episode of China Update. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Have a good Thursday, and I will see you all tomorrow.